In a twist that's once again ignited the ever-watchful eyes of the press, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle spent Valentine's Day apart, with him lingering in the crisp Canadian air of Vancouver to close out the Invictus Games, while she jetted back to their sun-drenched Montecito retreat with the children, fueling those persistent whispers of marital strain that even her carefully timed, nostalgic social media post couldn't entirely dispel. Meanwhile, the Prince and Princess of Wales offered a glimpse of understated warmth in their newly shared photograph from Norfolk, drawing inevitable parallels between the enduring stability of the monarchy and the Sussexes' penchant for what some might call Hollywood theatrics. Good evening, and thank you for joining me as we delve into this latest royal intrigue. Valentine's diet time for romance, chocolates, and it seems a fresh batch of royal speculation. This year, the spotlight fell squarely on Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, who, despite all appearances of unity at the start of the Invictus Games in Vancouver and Whistler, ended up marking the day on opposite sides of the border. It's the kind of separation that raises eyebrows, especially when one considers the couple's history of public displays that sometimes feel a tad orchestrated. Prince Harry, ever the dedicated founder of the Invictus Games, remained in Canada to oversee the closing ceremonies of what were billed as the first winter edition of these events. A well-placed source close to palace circles confides that his presence there was non-negotiable, a passion project that's become his anchor since stepping back from royal duties. But one can't help but wonder if it also served as a convenient buffer amid the swirling rumors. The Games themselves, held in early February 2025, were meant to celebrate adaptive sports for wounded veterans, with snow-capped mountains providing a dramatic backdrop. Yet the real drama unfolded off the slopes. Meghan made a brief appearance at the opening, donning her signature polished ensembles, think sleek coats and boots that screamed effortless chic, though some might argue it's all a bit too calculated. A source within the inner circle reveals that her role was supportive, joining Harry for the initial fanfare, including a double date with celebrities like Michael Bublé and his wife at a cozy Italian spot in Whistler. They were spotted laughing, toasting, and even sharing a kiss that made headlines, seemingly designed to quash those nagging divorce whispers. But then, just days before Valentine's, she boarded a flight back to California. Officially, it was to be with their young children, Archie and Lilibet, who remained at home in Montecito. A longtime family acquaintance suggests this was always the plan, a practical decision given the demands of parenting and the event's schedule. Still, the timing couldn't have been more unfortunate, or perhaps more telling. You see, dear viewers, society has a way of reading between the lines, especially when it comes to this pair. The tabloids pounced immediately, painting the separation as evidence of separate lives that have been rumored for months. Whispers of professional divergences have been growing louder. Harry's solo trips for charity work, Meghan's focus on her own ventures like that Netflix deal, or her lifestyle brand, which, let's be frank, hasn't exactly set the world on fire yet. A source behind closed doors murmurs that financial pressures might be at play here too. Their Montecito mansion doesn't maintain itself, and with deals like Spotify fizzling out, one wonders if the glamour is starting to wear thin. Reports from well-meaning staff members hint at strains from constant travel, with Harry allegedly finding solace in these games, while Meghan prefers the stability of home. It's all very modern, isn't it? But in the royal context, it smacks of discord. And then there's the social media angle, which Meghan wielded like a well-honed tool. As Harry wrapped up in Vancouver, she posted an archival black and white photo of the two of them sharing a kiss, captioned with something along the lines of missing her Valentine and praising the Invictus mission. Touching, to be sure, but one can't shake the feeling it's more spin than spontaneity. A well-placed source in palace circles notes that such posts are often pre-planned, a way to control the narrative amid the chaos. Yet the online frenzy it sparked only amplified the speculation. Comment sections buzzed with comparisons to happier times, and some users pointed out the irony of a couple so publicly affectionate now spending a romantic holiday apart. It's as if the post was meant to bridge the physical distance, but instead it highlighted it. Of course, this isn't the first time the Sussexes have faced such talk. Remember the whispers last year during the One Year to Go event in 2024, when they were actually together in Canada for Valentine's? Back then, they packed on the PDA at a romantic dinner, complete with red coats and cozy sweaters, effectively silencing critics for a spell. But fast forward to 2025, and the pattern shifts. A source within the inner circle confides that Meghan's early departure was indeed about the children, Archie starting school, Lilibet needing routine, that skeptics see red flags. Why not bring the family along, or have Harry cut his trip short? The optics are poor, especially when juxtaposed with the monarchy's more traditional displays. Speaking of which, let's not overlook the financial undercurrents that always seem to bubble up in these stories. The Invictus Games are Harry's baby, funded through donations and sponsorships, but questions linger about how much the Sussexes' involvement boosts or burdens the budget. A longtime family acquaintance shares that travel costs for such events aren't insignificant, and with their Arkawell Foundation reporting modest donations lately, one has to question the sustainability. Rumors of a Portugal property purchase as a potential escape pad only add fuel, suggesting perhaps a strategic retreat amid marital murmurs. And those divorce speculations? They've been rampant, with tabloids citing everything from professional separations to full-blown meltdowns. A source behind closed doors even hints at palace courtiers quietly preparing for various scenarios, including custody arrangements and asset divisions, though naturally, the Sussex camp denies it all vehemently. Public reaction has been swift and divided, as it always is with this couple. Social media erupted with hashtags like #SussexSeparate and #InvictusDrama, where supporters praised Meghan's mom-first approach, while detractors called it a sign of deeper issues. A well-meaning staff member recounts overhearing discussions among aides about how these separations play into the narrative of a couple drifting apart, especially after Harry's emotional moments at the games, where he appeared visibly moved, perhaps even relieved. It's cynical to say, but in the world of royalty, every absence is analyzed, every post dissected. As we wrap this first layer of the story, it's clear this Valentine's separation has done little to quiet the noise. Instead, it's amplified the contrasts between duty and domesticity, between Canada's snowy peaks and California's golden shores. And looming in the background is that elegant counterpoint from Kensington Palace, which we'll explore next. The Prince and Princess of Wales' release of a serene, black and white snapshot that screams stability. But for now, one can't help but ponder if Prince Harry and Meghan's latest chapter is more fracture than fairy tale. Stay with me, as there's much more to unpack in this tale of royal rifts and reconciliations. Now, let's turn our attention to Meghan's calculated response to this brewing storm. A social media post that, while ostensibly sweet, feels rather like a firebreak in a forest blaze. On Valentine's Day itself, with Harry still ensconced in Vancouver's frosty embrace, wrapping up the Invictus Games that concluded on the 16th. Meghan took to Instagram from the comfort of Montecito. She shared a black and white archival photograph of the two of them locked in a kiss over what appears to be a casual meal, her caption dripping with sentiment, something to the effect of missing her Valentine while tending to their babies, Archie and Lilibet, and lauding the transformative power of the games for veterans and their families. It's the sort of gesture that tugs at the heartstrings, yet one can't help but sense the hand of a savvy publicist behind it, crafted to stem the tide of those ever-persistent divorce whispers that have dogged them for years. A source within the inner circle confides that this post was no spur-of-the-moment affair. It was meticulously timed, a digital olive branch extended across the miles to reaffirm their bond. But a long-time family acquaintance hints at underlying frustrations, suggesting that these frequent separations, professional or otherwise, are wearing thin, even if the public facade remains polished. After all, Meghan's early exit from the Games, just days before the holiday, was billed as a maternal necessity, prioritizing the children over the pomp. She had joined Harry for the opening salvos from February 8th onward, where they put on a united front, hand-holding on the snowy slopes of Whistler, mingling with athletes, and even that double date with Michael Bublé and his wife at an upscale Italian eatery. There were laughs, toasts, and yes, a kiss or two captured for posterity. Yet by February 12th or so, she was wheels up for California, leaving Harry to soldier on solo. Officially, it was always the plan, but skeptics, and there are many, see it as another red flag in a relationship that's been under the microscope since they stepped back from royal life. The rumor mill, dear viewers, has been churning overtime, amplified by this very separation. Tabloids and online forums alike have seized on the narrative of cracks in the marriage, with headlines screaming about separate lives and impending splits. A well-meaning staff member shares that even palace courtiers, ever the pragmatists, have quietly mapped out contingency plans for various scenarios, including the thorny matters of custody for the children and the division of their considerable assets. The Montecito estate, those Netflix residuals, and whatever remains from their Spotify venture. Whispers of financial strains abound. Their Arkawell Foundation's donations have been modest of late, and with high-profile deals like the one with Lemonada Media for podcasts still in the pipeline, one wonders if the Hollywood dream is proving more costly than lucrative. A source behind closed doors murmurs of tensions over Meghan's alleged full meltdown during past events, or Harry's purported relief at handling the Games without the added spotlight she sometimes brings. It's all rather dramatic, isn't it? Like a script from one of their own productions, complete with plot twists and cliffhangers. And let's not overlook the Portugal property rumors that have surfaced amid this saga. A purported villa in the Algarve, whispered to be a strategic investment, or perhaps a bolt hole for one or the other. A longtime family acquaintance suggests it's meant as a European base for the children to connect with their heritage, but cynics view it as a potential asset in any future disentanglement. Meanwhile, the Invictus Games themselves serve as Harry's solo anchor, a realm where he shines without the shadow of controversy that often trails their joint appearances. Founded by him in 2014, this 2025 edition marked the debut of winter sports, adaptive skiing, snowboarding, and the like, drawing competitors from over 20 nations. Harry was visibly emotional at points, tearing up during speeches about resilience and healing, which some interpret as personal catharsis amid the marital murmurings. A source within the inner circle notes his passion is undimmed, but one can't ignore how these events conveniently align with periods of physical distance from Meghan. Public scrutiny, of course, has been relentless. Social media lit up with dissections of Meghan's post. Supporters hailed it as genuine affection, a modern take on long-distance love, while detractors dismissed it as performative, a band-aid on a deeper wound. Hashtags proliferated, hashtag Sussex split speculation, hashtag Invictus alone fueling debates that pit their Hollywood dramatics against more subdued royal pairings. A source behind closed doors reports the online frenzy was palpable, with users pointing out the irony of a couple who once reveled in public PDA now resorting to archival images to bridge the gap. It's as if every pixel is parsed for clues. Is the caption too effusive? Does the photo choice hark back to happier pre-Megxit days? And amid it all, the echoes of past rumors resurface, those from 2024, when they were together in Canada for the one-year countdown, packing on the affection to silence critics. But perhaps the most telling contrast emerges when we pivot to the Prince and Princess of Wales, whose Valentine's gesture couldn't have been more perfectly timed to underscore the differences. Kensington Palace released a restrained yet profoundly warm black and white photograph of William and Catherine, captured during a leisurely walk in Norfolk at Anmer Hall back in April 2025. Taken by the trusted lens of Josh Schinner, it shows the pair seated closely, William's arm draped casually over Catherine's lap, their smiles genuine and unforced. It's the epitome of quiet luxury, elegant, understated, a subtle nod to enduring partnership without the need for captions or theatrics. A well-placed source close to palace circles describes it as a deliberate emblem of stability, especially after what was undoubtedly a crisis-laden year for the monarchy. Health challenges, public pressures, and the ongoing ripple effects of family rifts. Shared on their official channels with a simple heart emoji and Happy Valentine's Day, it invited no drama, only admiration. Social networks erupted in comparisons almost instantly, with commentators lauding the Wales's serene composure against what many termed the Sussex's Gollywood flair. A source behind closed doors notes how the post became a symbol of resilience, positioning William and Catherine as the steadfast pillars of a monarchy that has weathered storms and emerged stronger. One can't deny the optics. While Meghan's missive felt like a defensive volley, the Wales photo exuded effortless harmony, a quiet rebuke to the noise across the Atlantic. It fueled online debates that dissected everything from fashion choices, Catherine's casual yet chic ensemble versus Meghan's polished look, to the deeper narratives of duty versus self-promotion. And in these contrasts lie the heart of the intrigue. One couple navigating separation with digital declarations, the other offering a portrait of unity that speaks volumes in its simplicity. As this chapter unfolds, the escalating speculation only heightens the drama we all crave. Quarrels hinted at, finances scrutinized, futures pondered. But there's more to this tale, including the broader implications for the royal family and what these Valentine's vignettes reveal about the monarchy's path forward. Join me as we peel back the final layers. Now, as we draw the threads of this Valentine's vignette together, it's impossible to ignore the stark contrasts that have emerged, painting a vivid picture of two very different royal narratives. On one side, we have Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, their separation underscored by digital gestures that, while poignant on the surface, carry an air of calculated deflection, one might even say desperation, to maintain the facade. On the other, the Prince and Princess of Wales present a masterclass in restraint, their Norfolk photograph serving as a beacon of quiet strength amid the monarchy's ongoing trials. This image, released by Kensington Palace on Valentine's Day, captures William and Catherine in a moment of genuine intimacy. Seated on a bench at Amer Hall, their country retreat, with William's arm protectively around her, both dressed in casual yet impeccably tailored attire, jeans, sweaters, and boots that whisper of countryside ease rather than shout for attention. Taken by photographer Josh Shinner during a family outing in April 2025. Its black and white simplicity belies its power. A subtle heart emoji and Happy Valentine's Day caption, all that's needed to convey enduring love without the histrionics. A well-placed source close to palace circles explains that this release was no accident. It was a carefully chosen emblem of stability, especially following a year fraught with challenges. Health scares for key figures, public scrutiny, and the lingering shadows of family divisions. Unlike Meghan's archival kiss photo, which felt like a reactive salve to the rumors, the Wales portrait exudes proactive poise, inviting admiration rather than analysis. Social media, that great equalizer of opinions, wasted no time in drawing parallels. Users flooded comments with praise for the quiet luxury of William and Catherine's approach, contrasting it sharply with what many dubbed the Hollywood dramatics of the Sussexes. A source behind closed doors reports the buzz was electric, with threads dissecting how the Waleses embody the monarchy's resilience, stoic, united, focused on duty, while Harry and Meghan's story veers toward spectacle, with posts that seem more about damage control than devotion. It's a narrative that's been building, isn't it? One couple rooted in tradition, the other adrift in reinvention. These comparisons, dear viewers, go beyond mere aesthetics. They touch on the very heart of the royal family's future. The monarchy, under King Charles, has navigated turbulent waters, from the king's own health battles to the broader questions of relevance in a modern world. The Wales photo becomes a symbol of continuity, a quiet assertion that the institution endures, even thrives, post-crisis. William, as heir apparent, and Catherine, with her poised grace, represent the steady hand steering the ship, engaging in causes like mental health and early childhood, without the flash that sometimes accompanies the Sussex initiatives. A longtime family acquaintance confides that palace strategists view such releases as morale boosters, reinforcing public affection for the core royals, while subtly underscoring the void left by Harry and Meghan's departure. And oh, the financial angles here are intriguing. The Waleses operate within the structured funding of the Duchy of Cornwall, their endeavors backed by institutional stability, whereas the Sussexes chase independent ventures, Netflix series, podcasts, and that elusive lifestyle brand that promise riches but deliver uncertainty. Whispers from a source within the inner circle suggest Arkawell's modest financials are a point of quiet concern, especially with mounting costs for security, travel, and that sprawling Montecito estate. Yet, the drama we all savor lies in the speculated quarrels and scandals bubbling beneath. For Harry and Meghan, this Valentine's apart has reignited talk of deeper rifts, not just physical distance, but emotional and professional chasms. A source behind closed doors murmurs of heated discussions over their diverging paths. Harry's globe-trotting for Invictus, Meghan's home-based projects, and how these feed into broader insecurities. Custody fears loom large in the gossip mills, with tabloids speculating on transatlantic arrangements for Archie and Lilibet should things unravel further. And the money? It's always about the money in these tales. Rumors of a pre-map split include divvying up assets, like their reported Portugal villa, seen by some as a neutral ground or by others as a harbinger of separation. A well-meaning staff member shares anecdotes of staff turnover at their operations, hinting at internal frictions that mirror the public perceptions. It's cynical, perhaps, but one can't ignore how these elements weave into a tapestry of intrigue. Spleens over palace interference, resentments from the Megxit fallout, and the ever-present shadow of Diana's legacy, which Harry invokes so often in his emotional speeches. Counterpoints do exist, of course. Supporters argue the Sussexes' modern approach is refreshing, their Valentine's post a testament to real-life balancing acts rather than royal rigidity. At the Invictus closing, Harry spoke movingly of unity and healing, perhaps a veiled nod to his own situation, and onlookers noted his energy seemed undimmed by the absence. But skepticism prevails in wider circles. After all, this isn't their first brush with split rumors. Last year's joint appearance in Canada for the game's preview was a PDA fest that temporarily hushed the doubters, only for the cycle to renew. A source within the inner circle suggests Meghan's focus on the children is admirable, but questions why such priorities lead to consistent separations on significant dates. Meanwhile, the Wales' image stands as a counter-narrative. No need for defensive posts, just a snapshot that reassures and endears. Social debates raged on, with users hailing Catherine's recovery and poise as inspirational, while critiquing Meghan's choices as self-serving. It's the stuff of endless fascination quarrels implied, loyalties tested, fortunes at stake. Broadening our gaze, this episode illuminates the monarchy's evolution. King Charles's slimmed-down vision, where William and Catherine shoulder the load with quiet competence, leaving Harry and Meghan as outliers in their California exile. A well-placed source close to palace circles hints at ongoing efforts to mend fences, but with each public divergence, the chasm widens. Financially, the contrast is stark. The Wales' causes draw institutional support, while the Sussexes' Arkawell grapples with donor fatigue and high overheads. Scandals too persist. Whispers of Harry's solo ambitions clashing with Meghan's, or vice versa, fueling those behind-the-scenes dramas we crave. And let's not forget the children. Archie and Lilibet's low-profile upbringing in Montecito versus the more public glimpses of George, Charlotte, and Louis, raising questions about heritage and identity. As we conclude this exploration, one reflects on how these Valentine's tales encapsulate the royal saga, intrigue laced with human frailty, stability pitted against spectacle. The Wales photo endures as a symbol of hope, the Sussex separation a spark for speculation. What next for this divided family? More separations, reconciliations, or something altogether unforeseen? As always, dear viewers, the royal stage offers endless acts of drama. Until next time, thank you for your company, and do share your thoughts in the comments below.